Good afternoon. This is Mark. We're back here for the daily recap. It was a long day. So Fed came out. They actually scripted it as exactly as everybody thought, and the market did exactly what everybody, in my opinion, probably predicted. You know, we basically were up in the morning, and then right when I was expecting a lot more volatility, quite frankly, after the Fed came out. But overall, we came in a little bit, and then we basically rallied pretty much all after that. And stuff, mainly high beta and the banks, I would say, were the two indices that really went the farthest. But it was a good sign, and you could just see we're now over some of that congestion level. We could probably get to 210 on the spiders. Now, I still believe, I've been saying this, the high beta acted the strongest. I still believe they could be gapping up tomorrow, gap and go. And we will be looking back, and you could just see it, higher towards the year end. So we'll have to see if this is the Santa Claus rally we were looking for, and it started today. Remains to be seen. Chart-wise, as I was saying, the high beta, we'll just start with the best in breed. Amazon acted great, 676. I am not in it. I'm a little disappointed. I could see this thing gapping up above highs tomorrow morning. So we'll wait and see, but looks great. Google, much of the same. Facebook, I think that's trigger is probably right around here, 107.50 maybe, but it's definitely working through a descending channel, which is bullish, and you can just see based on what why is this not working? Let me see if I can get this working. You can just see what I'm looking at, and which means today it broke through that. Which means it could work back to the 110 level pretty quickly. So keep that in mind also. It's one of those that we all like to trade. LinkedIn finally had a move today. I think it's day one. I think a move to 240 is probably in the cards. It's been one of those that you have to be patient on, but patience pays off sometimes as long as you have good prices. One that I was looking at that finally had a little bit of bounce, I think maybe get some footing, C-Trip, CTRP. Obviously it's not Netflix, Apple, or Amazon, and Google, Facebook. But good ideas nonetheless. And Netflix had a nice turnaround. Could have a nice move. And Tesla really was the play for today that really shot up. And early on it did it, and it acted tremendous. And you could just see it had very good follow through to a key moving average. And a little basing up here, and it could be back to 260 very quickly. So keep that in mind. It's obviously a pretty wild stock overall, but it looks good. The solars today off the bat, they didn't really do much after the open. SCTY was probably the strongest overall, but such a good move. SCTY up 5 pre-market, went up 10, 12, 13, something to that effect. Never really pulled in. New ranges are now being developed. Big wide range bar ideally needs some digestion, but overall looks terrific. Let's just go down that route. SPWR, big move from 21 to 28. So I would expect some digestion also, but looks good overall. And when it starts to set up a little better, we'll have it here. JKS, and then our SUNE, the little guy that we've been talking about, had a very nice move. I took almost all off. I still have some options. Had it from 350 or below, and it just takes patience. So. They worked out, and it took, a few weeks for that to happen, but, it did work out, and it was a nice move. The banks, as I said, they were strong. Goldman Sachs, second gap up day. I wouldn't be surprised for one more gap up, and then you'll probably get digestion. Not a whole lot to do intraday. Citigroup, much the same, because they just don't trade great yet. But when the patterns start to get a little bit more conducive, I think they'll make a lot more sense, and they'll have a little bit more daily patterns for us to really take advantage of, and this is JP Morgan across the board. U.S. oil was down. USO down almost near lows. That's definitely been leaving the market exposed a little bit, but that's been better half of the second half of the year, so that's not a surprise across the board. Some of the Schlumberger's, Chevron were up early on, and they basically caved in towards the end of the day. Nothing crazy, but they actually rallied. I didn't even see them. So initially at one point they caved in, and then they obviously rallied Chevron and then probably Schlumberger also. So a little divergence there because USO closed pretty low. IWM actually probably was the strongest index today, playing a little catch up across the board. So overall, guys, it was a nice day for us from a trading point of view. Hopefully you didn't waste too much time, pre-Fed, because it was a little dull. But then after Fed, you got your move, and you got everything she's been talking about, Yellen's been talking about, she said, and we had that follow through, which is nice to see, because a lot of times you have that crazy volatility, which we didn't have today, which was, in my opinion, a little bit better, a little bit easier on our stomachs. So we'll see where we go, but I think the Santa Claus rally has begun, at least for the high beta stocks, in my opinion, and we'll have to wait and see if that plays out over the next week or two. Have a good night. I will see you all tomorrow.